Steve Howe never stayed inside a single musical lane. He absorbed them all. Across 6 decades, the Yes guitarist pulled from jazz, country, folk, and classical music to create a sound no one else could imitate. These 8 records became his roadmap. 8. Les and Mary. Long before Steve Howe touched a guitar, music had already taken hold of him. Les Paul and Mary Ford filled his parents' record player, their 78s echoing through a small North London apartment before he even understood what a guitar could be. Released in 1955, the album captured the duo at the height of their powers. How High the Moon, The World is Waiting for the Sunrise, Bye Bye Blues. These were not ordinary pop recordings. They sounded like transmissions from somewhere beyond reality. They proved the guitar could become something nobody had dreamed of yet. What froze the young Howe in place was the layering. Les Paul had discovered multi-tracking years before the industry fully understood it. He stacked guitar over guitar until the instrument no longer sounded singular. It became orchestral, unreal, larger than life. Guitar approach. One musician sounding like an entire battalion. Mary Ford's voice drifted above the arrangements, smooth and exact. Beneath her, Paul built sonic cathedrals that felt impossible for 1955. The equipment was improvised. The outcome felt supernatural. Nearly every electric guitar cliché that followed had already been imagined by Les Paul. Howe later admitted he heard this music before he even understood the instrument itself. That was the lesson. Les and Mary did not hand him technique, they handed him imagination. They left him with the belief that one guitarist with enough vision and curiosity could occupy all the space in a room by himself. That belief stayed with him forever. It became the base everything else would stand on. 7. Bringing it all back home. Bob Dylan made a dangerous choice in 1965. He plugged in an electric guitar and challenged the world to reject him for it. One side of the album thundered with a backing band. The other side kept Dylan alone with an acoustic guitar, murmuring into silence. Folk traditionalists treated it like treason. Steve Howe heard freedom in it. The lesson Howe absorbed was enormous in its simplicity. An artist does not have to remain one thing forever. Dylan refused to let himself be confined. Subterranean homesick blues burst forward like runaway machinery. Mr. Tambourine Man floated softly like smoke through a cracked window. Both existed together without conflict. Both could only have belonged to Dylan. The constant motion was the message. Howe has often spoken about the rebellious spirit Dylan awakened inside him. Not rebellion for destruction, not rebellion for chaos. It was the rebellion of someone determined to follow his own instincts, no matter what anyone expected. Yes would spend the 1970s shifting between fragile acoustic passages and massive electric explosions, between jazz subtlety and symphonic ambition, between folk restraint and progressive excess. That refusal to remain fixed had a source. It came from seeing Dylan electrify his sound while the audience protested. Bringing it all back home showed that artistic bravery was not vanity. It was necessary for survival. 6. The great artistry of Django Reinhardt.
One afternoon, a neighbor arrived at Steve Howe's door carrying a 10-inch record he no longer wanted. He sold it for £5. Howe brought it home, dropped the needle, and heard music that completely altered the way he understood the guitar. The album captured Django Reinhardt during his final recording session. Made only 2 months before his death in 1953, it appeared on Clef Records and sounded unlike anything else in existence. What shocked Howe most was the electric guitar. Django had become legendary through his acoustic performances with the Quintet to Haute Club de France. The gypsy jazz style had already transformed European music, yet on this record he had evolved again. He played electric guitar across Night and Day, Nuage, Brazil, September Song, with a tone that felt warm, effortless, and unmistakably personal. After losing the use of 2 fingers in a caravan fire as a young man, Django invented an entirely new playing style around the fingers he had left. The result became a guitar voice no one has truly duplicated. Howe listened to that album and realized something essential. A guitarist is never trapped by tradition. Django rebuilt himself after physical disaster and emerged with something more individual, more expressive, and more powerful than conventional technique could ever create. Howe carried that understanding through 6 decades of music. When imagination meets limitation, the obstacle stops being a prison and starts becoming an opening. 5. Sketches of Spain. This record did not belong entirely to jazz. It was not fully classical music either. It was not strictly flamenco. It lived somewhere between all 3, while refusing to surrender completely to any of them. That refusal was exactly what made it immortal. In 1960, Miles Davis and arranger Gil Evans reimagined Rodrigo's Concierto de Aranjuez into something completely unfamiliar. When Steve Howe first heard it, everything about music seemed to tilt in a new direction. The trumpet unfolded with patience and intention. Miles avoided wasting notes, leaving silence untouched whenever it already said enough. Around him, the arrangements drifted and expanded like changing skies. Brass, strings, and woodwinds created worlds that sounded timeless and futuristic all at once. Spanish and American, and somehow beyond both. Howe later admitted that Sketches of Spain convinced him he could reach for something similar himself. That was the reason it always felt unlike any other record to him. The brilliance came from reinterpretation itself. Turning something recognizable into something unanticipated was never imitation. For them, it became reinvention. Yes would spend years pursuing that same idea. Classical ambition fused with rock intensity, fragile acoustics beside electric force, European influence meeting American momentum. The whole progressive rock vision Howe helped shape inside the band can be traced back to what Miles and Gil Evans revealed through that album. Genres, they proved, were never barriers, only loose guidelines. Sketches of Spain approached musical borders like open doors instead of restrictions. Howe carried that lesson with him permanently. More than shaping his guitar work, the record transformed the way he understood music altogether. 4. The Poll Winners. Howe has spoken clearly about this album.
Barney Kessel became the first American jazz guitarist he genuinely bonded with, and the Poll Winners was where that connection started. Kessel, bassist Ray Brown, and Shelly Manne played with effortless swing and complete instinct. There was no showing off, no need for spectacle, only 3 musicians speaking fluently through sound. What captured Howe most was Kessel's tone, warm and polished, yet deeply tied to the blues. At the same time, it moved through difficult harmonies with complete ease. Kessel absorbed Charlie Christian, bebop, swing, and his own musical instincts, refining them into a style that always felt both unexpected and inevitable. Every solo delivered only what was necessary before stepping aside. That restraint became the lesson. Howe tracked down every Kessel album he could locate at Dobell's Jazz Shop in London. He examined that chordal style, that harmonic awareness, that relaxed ability to swing naturally. Years later, when he formed his own jazz trio, traces of Kessel could still be heard throughout it. The Poll Winners showed him that true sophistication never needs to advertise itself. It simply exists. 3. The incredible jazz guitar of Wes Montgomery. Imagine a 16-year-old sitting inside Ronnie Scott's jazz club. The room darkens. A guitarist steps from backstage,
grinning wider than anyone else there, and takes his place beside the trio. That teenager was Steve Howe. Then everything changed. Wes Montgomery played using only his thumb. No pick, no standard technique, just skin brushing against strings to create a tone no one else has truly duplicated. Then the octaves arrived. Montgomery carried single-note melodies in doubled octaves, racing across the fretboard with impossible ease. The sound stayed full and powerful while remaining strangely tender. Howe already owned several Wes Montgomery records before that night at Ronnie Scott's Jazz Club. He believed he understood what was coming. He was wrong. The incredible jazz guitar of Wes Montgomery contained everything that made Montgomery unforgettable. 4 on 6, West Coast Blues, and In Your Own Sweet Way. These performances carried confidence and melodic instinct that felt closer to conversation than virtuosity. Montgomery never played for applause. He played to connect. And the gap between those ideas means everything. Howe absorbed that lesson completely. Technique without imagination has no value. Montgomery possessed both in abundance. He used them with the ease of someone who treated music as second nature. That expression on his face stayed with Howe for the rest of his life. 2. Teensville. There is one word Howe always returns to when speaking about Chet Atkins: central. Not merely influential or significant, but central, as though the rest of his musical world grew outward from that single foundation.
Teensville landed in 1960, and Steve Howe later described it as the most influential guitar album he had ever encountered. That is a remarkable statement from someone who spent 6 decades absorbing music. Chet Atkins achieved what almost no one else could. He blended country, jazz, pop, classical, and folk, sometimes all within one track, yet every note still sounded unmistakably like him. His fingerpicking was flawless, with the thumb driving the bass while the fingers carried the melody, creating something that felt both natural and unattainable at once. Howe heard that record and grasped the lesson instantly. A single guitarist could embrace every style without sacrificing identity or conviction. Teensville carried warmth and texture, shifting between emotions while never losing its core character. The tone felt crisp, glowing, and personal, as if the performance was unfolding right beside you. Howe later said he was fortunate enough to meet Atkins several times and collect every album he released. That level of admiration reveals just how deeply the music shaped him. When Howe joined Yes in 1970, he introduced a rare philosophy into rock music. A guitarist could explore endless styles without sounding scattered or uncertain. Versatility was not confusion, it was control. Chet Atkins planted that idea in Howe's mind long before he realized how much it would guide him. Teensville reshaped more than his playing. It redefined his understanding of what a guitarist could become.
1. Close to the edge. Certain albums earn respect, while others become places you inhabit. Steve Howe once described Close to the Edge as a hell of a record. Coming from the guitarist responsible for every note he played on it, the praise carries enormous significance. Released in 1972, the album stands as the purest realization of everything Yes imagined rock music could achieve. It was never meant to be just a set of songs, but a complete statement about the possibilities of the genre. The title composition stretches close to 20 minutes. It shifts between chaos and stillness, between cathedral-like organ passages and raging guitar lines, with John Anderson's voice reaching towards something beyond ordinary expression. Howe's performance across the record sounds unlike anything rock music had produced before or after. Classical discipline exists beside jazz improvisation and raw electric power. Every part serves the larger vision instead of drawing attention to itself alone. Bill Bruford's drumming drove the momentum forward. Chris Squire's bass anchored everything at the center. Rick Wakeman's keyboards created the framework, while Howe moved through it all with complete confidence and freedom. What makes the album impossible to rival is its complete rejection of restraint. Yes never approached close to the edge cautiously. They pushed every musical idea as far as it could go and trusted the audience to follow them there. That commitment created something truly singular. Howe spent his career absorbing inspiration from jazz legends, folk innovators, country masters, and classical composers. Close to the Edge became the moment where all of those influences finally converged. It was no longer inspiration, it was the final destination. Steve Howe devoted 60 years to proving that truly great guitarists never remain confined to one sound. From Chet Atkins to Miles Davis, from Django Reinhardt to Bob Dylan, he absorbed the finest ideas from every corner of music and transformed them into something unmistakably his own. These 8 albums helped shape one of rock's most original creative voices. If this journey connected with you, subscribe, leave a like, and share your thoughts in the comments below.